Okay, good afternoon. As Ray said, I'm here to talk about the activities, some of the activities for our team science group. Um, the, the co-leads are myself from Rutgers, Bijou from Rutgers Engineering, and Nancy Reichman, who is Rutgers faculty and Princeton faculty. The original aims were first to expand, catalyze, and assess team science as a critical pathway for collaborative translational research, and the second to formalize and bolster training in multidisciplinary team science. And I'm going to talk about both of those areas. We started out the year in January with an all-day symposium on academic careers in the area of team science. It was divided into two different aspects. The first were three experiential talks highlighting team science projects and how they came about. Shauna talked about her survivorship core activity. I talked about a translational immunotherapy program at the Cancer Institute, and Sam Wong, who you've heard about, gave a really interesting team talk on team-based basic neuroscience from Princeton. It was very well attended, and the presentations are up on the NJX. I think they're probably still up on the NJX website. The second part of the meeting was really focused on academic promotion and tenure in the area of team science. This has been a real tough nut to crack nationally. And how do you reward team science, and how does it fit into the academic promotion and tenure paths? We had three outstanding national experts, Holly Falk-Krasinski from Northwestern, Julie Thompson-Klein from Wayne State, and Susan McHale from Penn State, who really outlined and spoke about challenges and how it was done at a variety at their institutions and nationally. It gave us a lot of information, and in the end, it gave us a lot of questions about how much could be done to really fold in team science with the academic promotion area, and we're still talking about that. The TL and the K awardees also attended as part of their curriculum. And again, all of these presentations are up on the NJX website. All right. We've also spent a fair amount of time on looking, Bijou really took a lead here, looking at a variety of online platforms for identifying prospective teams and individuals. We focused on ORCID, which is a NIH adapted program now that is also at both at Princeton, at Rutgers, and at NJIT, and brings together publications, grants, etc. And then we ended up focusing on a program called Research in New Jersey. It's significantly more powerful. It's an online gateway that lets New Jersey academics and companies and entrepreneurs identify experts, find publications, and put together teams. It has a link, or had a link, to the NJX website. It's on hold right now, I think in part for funding questions, and an adapted version is promised in first quarter 2021. And it's very powerful, and we're waiting for it to come back. You've heard from Kathy that we've been collaborating with, helping her with her efforts, primarily on developing a team science course that would coordinate with the T and the K programs. Bijou and Raphael Gigliotti from Rutgers are working together on this. The course is going to provide an introduction to the theory, practice of team science, and explores practical and theoretical knowledge and skills necessary to lead and participate in teams. And that will be up and running through Kathy's program in the winter. Okay, and adding to our, in part adding to that, but adding to our symposium, we're in the process of putting together a team science seminar series that will bring together people who are taking part in different aspects of team science from the NJX institutions and programs. And also we're reaching out to broader industry speakers. We're hoping to bring in somebody as an example from Google, and other high-tech industries. The seminar series, we hope, will showcase requirements for successful team science projects spanning translational continuum and featuring projects from basic science, population science, clinical trials, but also technical aspects. You heard from Lauren about her intern program, the 8-week intern program that they developed in workforce. That came as a perfect time for us. We recruited through her program and funded the first 2 of our workforce interns. Hossein Arman is a senior undergraduate bio major at Rutgers Camden, and Ziad is a Rutgers graduate and currently a Rutgers Masters of Science in Biomedical Sciences student. They are working together as a team. Everything is a team. And it is hoped during this period they'll be able to contribute to writing scholarly publications, developing and implementing surveys for pilot grants, and importantly, taking inventory of team science projects to use in developing metrics or in identifying metrics for team science. The first of the 3 areas that they're working in is they've collected data already on the Rutgers Big Ideas program and the research ideation programs. The idea is they're putting together that information, and we hope, it may be ambitious, but we hope that they'll be able to put together at least one case study on evolution, implementation, and future directions of these initiatives. And there's a special focus issue of the Journal of Clinical and Translational Science on team science, which is coming up in the spring. So as I say, it may be somewhat ambitious, but that's the first thing that they're looking at. The second is they're working with Nancy to put together a survey that we can use for pilot grantees, other collaborative team programs, and such as REACH and others, to identify initial views on team science, what works, what doesn't work. This is just the very beginning of the questions that would be asked. And we're hoping to reach out again to the pilot grantees that Arnold spoke about, and other collaborative programs. The final thing that they're working on is we put together a database, an initial database that comes from NIH Reporter of all of the multi-PI research grants at Rutgers, NJIT, and Princeton. And it's very large. And they're working to condense that to identify the MPI grants. By definition, multi-PI grants are team science, as you have to justify in all of those applications the complementary functions of the PIs and areas of the PIs. What we hope is that we can use this database to identify success metrics, and down the road look at publications that come from these from these grants, further grants that come from these grants, and the like, and use this as the foundation of a significant database for identifying success metrics. And we would also want to do the same thing. Ray spoke about the REACH program this morning. The REACH program goes from identification, development, commercialization of projects. I think Ray and Steve Labouty are two of the PIs of this funded program, and we're similarly to what we wanted to do with the multi PIs, wanting to use this one to look at team science development and success in the REACH program, but again to use this as a model for team science to determine to hopefully determine success metrics, etc. And be happy to answer any questions.
Great, Ned. I think, Ned, that was a great presentation. I'm particularly excited about the discovery of information related to the successful NPE and MPI grants. I think that this is a wonderful platform, and it's really a demonstration of success of building a team. And I think what we need to use is some mixed methods, maybe even focus groups, to define what's the special sauce that builds MPI grants, and how do we capture the essence of that and disseminate it so that we can improve those signals. I think that that's going to be really a very interesting database to mine. Yeah. The REACH grant, for those that aren't aware of it, we're one of 5 nationally that have been awarded to build a platform for the commercialization of academic assets. And there's nothing better than a team approach when you try to look at contracting, licensing, and business models, and then build the science into critical go, no-go decisions in the development and commercialization of academic assets. So I think those 2 programs offer a wealth of knowledge that's waiting to be tapped on the success of team science. The fact that we're leveraging workforce interns to help us with this really is a wonderfully innovative approach. Ned, great job. We really appreciate it. Let's move on. The 2 next cores are our optional cores, Bob. The first will be